Hello all, this is Dr. Ravindra Munje, and today we will be talking about a very important topic, that is converting a given transfer function model to a state space model and then converting a state space model to transfer function model. So before we begin, we will just review some of the topics that we have covered in our earlier lectures. If we talk about control system, then it is classified into three different eras. The first era is about classical or conventional control system. It is about the methods or techniques that are developed before 1950s. These include root locus method, Bode plot, Nyquist, polar plots, Routh-Hurwitz criteria. These are the techniques that are generally covered under the title of conventional control system or classical control system. But there are some limitations of the classical control system. Like these are used only for the single input, single output systems. If we consider any MIMO system, that is multi-input, multi-output system, for analysis using the classical control methods, then we need to consider one loop at one time. Another limitation is that these methods use transfer function or frequency domain techniques which are limited to linear time invariant system. So these are some of the limitations of the classical control system. Then there comes the era of modern control theory. It is generally about the state space methods which are developed in late 1950s and early 1960s. These methods are applicable for multi-input, multi-output systems. These are also applicable for linear time invariant systems, also for time variant system. These are also applicable to linear and non-linear plants. There are many advantages of using state space methods over the classical control methods. But one of the limitation of these methods is that the control design is complicated when the plant model is uncertain. And then there comes the third era of robust control from 1970s to 1980s, which is the combination of modern control theory, that is state space techniques, and classical control system, which covers the design of control system when the plant model is uncertain. So this is what about the control system, which is classified in three different eras: classical or conventional control, then modern control theory, that is state space, and third is robust control. Now in this topic we will be talking about modern control theory, that is state space methods. And earlier to this we have discussed what is meant by state, state variable, state vector, state space, and state equation. So now here, assuming that we know what is a state equation, we will go for converting a given transfer function model to a state space model, and then again converting a given state space model into transfer function model. So learning outcomes for this session or this lecture are, at the end of this lecture you will be able to obtain a state space model from a given transfer function model, and also you will be able to obtain the transfer function model from the state space model. This is illustrated with the help of example. Whatever we have covered is taken from a textbook of Ogata, Modern Control Theory. So these topics or this presentation is prepared with the help of content given in the textbook of Ogata, Modern Control Theory. So first part that we will cover is converting a transfer function model into a state model. So let us consider this as a transfer function. Now here you can see that transfer function is y of s divided by u of s is equal to 1 upon s raised to n plus a1 s raised to n minus 1 plus a n minus 1 into s plus an. Looking at this transfer function, we can say that the transfer function is of nth order, or the system is of nth order. Y is the output, u is the input. Transfer function usually defined as the Laplace transform of the output divided by Laplace transform of the input. So output upon input, Laplace transform. This is transfer function, right? So we will be talking about a single input, single output system, that is only one output and only one input. So this is transfer function. Now when we cross multiply this, that is y of s multiplied by this denominator is equal to u of s into 1. So we will get one expression, and converting that expression into time domain, we can get this following expression 2.30, where this yn is nth derivative of y plus a1 n minus 1th derivative of y plus up to an minus 1 first derivative of y plus any is equal to u. So this will be the expression which we will get in terms of time domain. This expression is in the Laplace domain. This expression we will get when we cross multiply this and we write like this. So after that we will define some variables, we call it as state variables. So let us define y is equal to x1. So x1 is equal to y, that is first state variable. Then y dot, this y dot you can see here, that is first derivative of y, let us define it as x2. Similarly y double dot, that is second derivative of y, we will call it as x3. Then fourth derivative of y, we will call it as x4, and so on up to y n minus 1 derivative, we will call it as xn. So after defining this, these are nothing but the state variables. x1 to xn, these are the state variables. After defining this, we will substitute these values in this expression. These values in this expression, and then we will write. So suppose here what we will get, y dot y raised nth derivative of y plus a1, this n minus 1th derivative of y, this will be xn, a1 xn plus a2 x n minus 1, and so on up to an x1. An x1 is equal to u. This expression we will get, right? Now here if we take derivative of this term, first term x1 is equal to y, derivative of this term will be x1 dot is equal to y dot, x1 dot is equal to y dot. I repeat, this is the expression x1 is equal to y, derivative of this term will be x1 dot is equal to y dot. So y dot becomes x1 dot, y dot becomes x1 dot. So x1 dot is equal to x2, x1 dot is equal to x2. We are just finding out the relationship between the state variables. So x1 dot is equal to x2, similarly x2 dot is equal to x3, x3 dot is equal to x4, and so on up to x raised to, or n minus 1th derivative of x is equal to xn. So in the next slide we can see here x1 dot is equal to x2, x2 dot is equal to x3, and so on, x3 dot is equal to x4, and so on. We can get n minus 1th derivative of x is equal to xn, and this xn dot we have obtained from this equation. From this equation we will get this xn dot, that is nth derivative of x, right? So x1 to xn are the state variables. X1 to xn are state variables. So this, if we write in a matrix form, this will be a column vector which is called as x dot. xn dot, x2 dot, x3 dot, xn minus 1 dot, xn dot. All these will be a column vector which will be considered as x dot. This is nothing but the state variables. x1 to xn are the state variables. And similarly, this side, if we write in the matrix form, we will get A multiplied by x plus b into u, because we have this u term, right? So if we write in the matrix form, we will get something like this: x dot is equal to ax plus bu, where x is equal to x1 to xn, that is column vector. This A is a square matrix n by n. B is again a column vector with only one entry 1, because in the last expression we have only u. For rest of the equations we don't have u. Only in the last equation we have u. So that's why we are having only one term here, that is 1. All other terms are 0. So this is called as the state equation. X dot is equal to ax plus bu. X is a state vector, A is a state matrix, B is input matrix, U is input. U is input, right? So here we are getting this state equation. Now what about the output expression? Now here, if you can see that, as I said earlier, Laplace transform of the output upon Laplace transform of the input is a transfer function. So y is the output, so this y is equal to x1 is the output. So we have only one output, that is x1. We have only one output, that is x1. These are n state variables. Out of that, only one is the output, that is xn. So that can also be written in the matrix form. Here you can see that y is equal to, if we multiply this, we will get y is equal to x1. All other terms will be 0 because these are zeros. So y is equal to x1, just to represent in the matrix form we are writing like this. So we get y is equal to Cx, where C is a matrix called as the output matrix. Dimension of the C matrix is 1 by n. Dimension of the C matrix is 1 by n. Dimension of B matrix is n by 1. So B is input matrix, C is output matrix, and this equation is called as the output equation. This is called as the state equation, and this equation is called as the output equation. So this is nothing but the state space representation which is obtained from this transfer function model. This is the transfer function model of the given system. By using these notations, we will be converting a given transfer function model into a state space model. X dot is equal to ax plus bu, y is equal to cx. These two equations represent state space model. X dot is equal to ax plus bu and y is equal to cx. These two equations represent state model. So from this transfer function model, we have obtained a state space model, right? Now let us illustrate the same with the example. Now consider this example. This is a mass damper system. Consider a mechanical system shown in this figure. We assume that the system is linear, right? The external force u of t, this is u of t, input, is the input to the system, and displacement y of t of the mass is the output. So output is y of t, that is displacement, and this force is the input. The displacement y of t is measured from equilibrium position. In the absence of external force, the system is single output, single input system, SISO system. So looking at this diagram, we can easily write the expression for the complete system. This already we have studied in control system 1, how to get the mathematical model of this system. So this is mass into second derivative of the output plus damper coefficient, first derivative of the output plus spring constant, y is equal to u. So this expression we can get. So this is, if we see what is the derivative of here, second derivative of this y. So this is the second order system. So looking at this expression, we can say that the system is of second order. This means that the system involves two integrators. The order indicates the number of integrators. So if it is second order, two integrators, third order, three integrators, right? So second order system. Now if we apply the same methodology that we have applied earlier, let us indicate x1 is equal to y and x2 is equal to y dot. X1 is equal to y and x2 is equal to y dot. So if I write here I can write m y double dot plus b, this y dot will be x2 here. So bx2 plus kx1 is equal to u. M y double dot plus bx2 plus kx1 is equal to u, replacing y and y dot in this expression. Now if we take the derivative of this equation I am talking about, x1 is equal to y. If I take derivative of this, it will be x1 dot is equal to y dot. X1 dot is equal to y dot. So y dot is equal to, if I write here x1 dot, so I get x1 dot is equal to x2. That will be our first differential equation. The thing is that this second order equation we are representing into two first order differential equation. This is first order differential equation. So x1 dot is equal to x2 by taking derivative of this and substituting here, and x2 dot, if I take derivative of this, it will be x2 dot is equal to y double dot. So y double dot is nothing but x2 dot. So m x2 dot plus b x2 plus k x1 is equal to u. Representing in this format, I can get x2 dot is equal to 1 upon m in bracket minus ky minus by dot plus 1 upon mu. So y and y dot we know, y and y dot, these are x1 and x2. Substituting these values, we get this expression. So finally we have two first order differential equations, one with the x1 dot and the other with the x2 dot. So x1 dot is equal to x2, this equation as it is, and here we are replacing y and y dot with the x1 and x2 respectively here. So x2 dot is equal to minus k upon m x1 plus b upon m x2 plus 1 upon mu. So we have two first order differential equation. So here x1 dot is equal to x2, that is derivative of x1 is x2. Integrating both sides, what I can say that x1 is equal to integration of x2. x1 is equal to integration of x2, and here if I take integration of both sides, then x2 is equal to integration of this whole term. x2 is equal to integration of this whole term. This I can represent in the form of block diagram here, right? x2 dot integration is x2 here, or here if I take integration of x2, integration of x2 will give me x1, this 2.17 equation, integrating both sides. So x1 is equal to integration of x2, right? So this is x2, integration of this will give me x1, right? This is x2, integration of this x2 will give me x1. This is first equation. Please see here, x1 dot is equal to x2, integration of both sides will give me x1 is equal to integration of x2. That means integrating x2 I will get x1. So integrating this x2 I will get x1, right? Now here if I take integration of both sides here, x2 will be integration of this total term. x2 is the integration of this total term, which includes minus k upon m x1 minus b upon m x2 plus 1 upon m u, right? So this is x2, this is x2, which is integration of some terms. What are these terms? The first term is coming from here, minus km, this minus k upon m x1 minus b upon m x2 plus 1 upon mu. So integration is giving x2. So this is the block diagram for understanding, right? So these two equations, first order differential equations, are represented in the matrix form as we have seen earlier. x1 dot x2 dot, this is a state vector, x1 x2 are the state variables. If we represent in the matrix form, then we will get this is a state space representation. So this is state vector, this is system matrix, again state vector, this is state vector derivative, this is state vector input matrix and u. Now what about the output? Here it is mentioned that the displacement y of t is measured from the equilibrium point. Okay, here it is mentioned that u of t is the input and y of t is the output, right? So y of t is output means x1 is output. So if I want to write output, then I can write y is equal to 1 0 x1 x2. If I multiply this, I will get y is equal to x1. So this is our output matrix. Output matrix. This is again state vector. So finally we get x1 dot is equal to ax plus bu, y is equal to cx plus du. D is indicating the relationship between the output and the input. Since there is no relationship here, D is 0. right? So x1 dot is equal to ax plus bu, y is equal to cx plus du, and a, b, c are represented here. So what we have obtained? We have obtained a state model from the transfer function model. This is nothing but transfer function model if we take Laplace of both sides. Then easily we can write s square m plus bs plus k bracket multiplied by y of s is equal to u of s. And then we get y of s upon u of s is equal to 1 upon ms square plus bs plus k. That will be the transfer function of this. So from this transfer function we have obtained the state model here, right? So what we have seen? We have seen how to obtain a state model from the transfer function. This is a transfer function, and from this transfer function how to obtain the state model, that we have seen with the example. Now next is how to obtain the transfer function from the state model. How to obtain the transfer function from the state model. So let us consider the state model here. This is the state model. X dot is equal to ax plus bu, y is equal to cx plus du. A is state matrix, B is input matrix, C is the output matrix, D is the input transmission matrix, right? And X is a state vector. X dot is the derivative of state vector. Y is the output, U is the input. This is a SISO system, single input, single output system. So here also it is mentioned X is the state vector, U is the input, Y is the output. Now taking Laplace transform of both sides. If we take Laplace transform of both sides, we can see that this is the derivative. So we need to write s into x of s minus x0. x0 is the initial condition. x0 is the initial condition. A into x of s plus b u of x, and the output expression will be y of s is equal to c x of s plus d u of s. Assuming 0 initial condition, we can make this term as 0. So what we will get? S into x of s is equal to ax of s plus bu of s. Output equation will remain as it is. Now rearranging this equation and removing initial condition, we can write s x of s, this term as it is, minus ax of s, this term is taken to this side here, is equal to bu of s. So taking x of s common, we can get s multiplied by I minus ax of s is equal to bu of s. So when we are taking this common, this S is multiplied by the identity matrix. This I is the identity matrix, where the dimension of I will be same as that of the system matrix. Si minus a x of s is equal to bu of s. Now next is pre-multiplying both sides. Here pre-multiplying both sides by inverse of this term, Si minus a inverse. Si minus a inverse, so that this term will vanish. This will become identity matrix, and here we will write Si minus a inverse into B. Si minus a inverse into B u of s. Right? So x of s is equal to Si minus a inverse B u of s. Right? Then substituting this value of x of s. Substituting this value of x of s into the expression of the output equation here. So it will be y of s is equal to c. X of s is Si minus a inverse B u of s plus d u of s. Right? Substituting here and taking u of s common. So we will get y of s is equal to, in bracket, c, in another bracket, Si minus a inverse into B plus d into u of s. And then we write in the Laplace transform form, that is output of Laplace transform divided by input of Laplace transform. Let us represent it by the transfer function g of s, which will be c multiplied by Si minus a inverse B plus d. So this is nothing but the Laplace transform model, which is obtained from the state model. This is the state model, state equation and the output equation, and here we are getting Laplace transform model. Right? So this is the transfer function expression of the system in terms of A, B, C and D. Right? Now let us consider this with the example. We will consider the same example which we have earlier considered here. This is the state model which is obtained for the system here. These are the expressions for the A, B and C and D state model, right? We will use same system here. G of S is equal to C multiplied by Si minus A inverse B plus D, right? C is 1 0, that is 1 by 2 matrix. Then this is S multiplied by identity matrix minus this A matrix, the whole inverse into B matrix plus D. D is 0 here. So if we solve this and take the inverse, if we solve this, we will get like this: S minus 0 S, 0 minus 1 minus 1, 0 minus of K upon M, K upon M, and then this S minus minus plus B upon M, right? And then we will take the inverse of this. Inverse of this is taken by taking the adjoint of it divided by the determinant of it. So this is determinant and this is adjoint. So inverse of this term is given by 1 upon this is determinant multiplied by adjoint, right? After that, we will substitute this inverse in this expression and then we will solve. Then we will get 1 upon ms square plus bs plus k. Transfer function, that is y of s upon u of s is equal to 1 upon ms square plus bs plus k. This is the same transfer function that we got here in this system. This is time domain expression. If we take Laplace of both sides, then we will get m s square y of s plus b s y of s plus k y of s is equal to u. Taking y of s common, we will get m s square plus b s plus k bracket multiplied by y of s is equal to u of s. And if we take ratio of y of s upon u of s, then we will get this expression as 1 upon m s square plus bs plus k. So this is what we will get. So here what we have done, we have obtained this transfer function model from the state space model. Transfer function model from the state space model here, right? So in this session, what we have covered is how to convert a given transfer function model into a state space model, and also how to convert a state space model into transfer function model. Here we need to note down one important point, that transfer function model is unique for all the systems. The transfer function model that we get here is a unique transfer function, whereas the state model can be different. State model can be obtained in different ways, by considering the phase variables, physical variables, or canonical state variables, where we can have a controllable canonical form, observable canonical form, or diagonal canonical form. So transfer function model will be same, whereas the state model can be different. But note that the eigenvalues for the state matrix will remain same, whether it is canonical, controllable canonical form, observable canonical form, or Jordan canonical form. So this is about converting a given transfer function model into a state model and converting a given state model into transfer function model. Next time we will see some more topics about modern control theory. Thank you.